Hey guys, so today we're going to be reviewing how to find rate of change or slope, or the other word that you know is constant. So today we're just going to be reviewing on how to find it. So first, some vocabulary. So slope, a ratio comparing the difference of y values and the difference of x values for two given points. So that is just your change in y divided by your change in x. All right, so like I said before, slope, constant, rate of change, and unit rate, you find them all the same way. Change in y divided by change in x. So first, let's go ahead and review the table. So the first thing you want to do is to label your table. So again, which one comes first? If you remember your ABCs, x always comes first. So x and y. And this one is a horizontal table. All right, so we're going to find here how much did it change from 1 to 3. It changed 2. And from 45 to 135. From 135 to 45, it changed 90. So plus 90. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and divide. Change in y divided by change in x. So my y changed 90 and my x changed 2. So 90 divided by 2, that equals 45. So how do I write my equation, guys? Do you remember y equals mx? Y equals, so m is your constant or your rate of change. Y equals 45x. And again, remember that you can double check on the calculator. So I will go ahead and double check on the calculator. So let me go ahead and erase everything so we don't get confused. So I'm gonna go ahead and double check on the calculator. I am gonna first label my x and my y. On the calculator, you go ahead and go to Stat, Edit, Enter. I have the information in there, so I'm going to delete. X is always the first one, so that's my L1, and Y is my L2. Again, X always comes first. And I only need 2 points from X, so I can only use these two if I want to. Now you can use the whole graph, like I've said before, the whole table if you feel comfortable, but you don't have to, you only need 2 points. All right, so the x of 1 is 45, and the the y of 3 is 135. Stat, calculate, go to number 4, enter all the way down, enter. And that is 45, so we got the answer correct. All right, so now let's go ahead and review the graph. So it says find out how many cookies can you make per cup. So with this graph, I'm going to select 2 perfect points. Now, I do want to tell you guys, if it starts at 0, 0, you can definitely select that one as a point. So 0, 0 is a point. And right here, the point here, the x for this point is 12. And the y for this point is 192. Again, you are selecting perfect points that is at the corner of a square. So the x for this point is 12, and the y for this point is 192. So from 0 to 12 plus 12, from 0 to 192 plus 192. Now we're going to divide change in y divided by change in x. My change in y, so how much did my y change? It changed 192. How much did my x change? It changed 12. So 192 divided by 12 equals 16. So my constant is 16. How would I write the equation? Y equals 16x. All right, now I'm gonna double check on my calculator. I'm gonna leave the table. All right, on the calculator, so again, if you are checking from on the calculator, again, you are to select 2 points, put them on a table, X and Y table, and then you go to Stat, Edit. I'm gonna delete what's in here. So again, my X's are L1 and I can label it, and my Y's are L2. X always comes first, so 0 and 12, and then 0 and 192. Stop, calculate number 4 all the way down. So again, my constant is 16, so I got that one correctly. All right. Now I'm going to introduce to you the 4-quadrant graph. So this one you see 1 quadrant. This one has 4 quadrants, so 4 pieces right here. Before we were only using this first quadrant, but now we're using the 4 quadrant. I know you saw it in 7th grade. Now, if you need practice with your coordinate points, please let us know. So the same thing, if you're gonna find the slope from the 4 quadrant, you still do the same thing. Now you need to be careful when you are selecting the 2 points. Now for this one, I see this one as a perfect point right here, and I see this one as a perfect point right here. Yes, you can select 0, 0 as well. So let's go ahead and do, let's do this one. So from here, you have to go to your x-axis, all right? So from this point, you have to go to your x-axis. So what is the x of this point? So what you're gonna do is that from that point, you're gonna go to your x line. So my x is 4, all right? And then from this point, you're gonna go to your y-axis. So here I have, if you guys look over here, what does this say? It says negative. So this one will be a -3. All right. Now from here to the x line, because we're looking for the x point, it lands on -4. And from here to the y, it lands on 3. Now we can find your change. How much did my x change and how much did my y change? Now from 4 to -4, please do not get confused. If you need to draw a number line, draw a number line. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1, -2, -3, -4. Well, from 4 to -4, we're going to go to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So from my +4 to my -4, I went left 8. I went left 8. So that means I am going to subtract 8. All right. Now from my -3 to my +3. So let's go ahead and use the number line again. Let me see here. So from my from my -3 to my +3. So here's my -3, here is my positive, here's my -3, here's my +3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I went to the right 6. So that is a plus 6. Now we're going to divide change in y divided by change in x. So my y changed positive 6. My x changed negative 8. So yes, guys, you got to use the negatives. Please don't forget the negatives. So 6 divided by negative 8. So 6 divided by negative 8. We got negative 0.75. Negative 0.75. So my constant is negative 0.75. So to write the equation, again, y equals mx. So y equals negative 0.75. All right. Now, again, remember that your multiple choice might be in fraction form. So what you want to do is convert that into a fraction. Negative 0.75, math, enter, enter. We got negative 3/4. So it is the same thing as negative 3/4. All right, so either one, depending on what you have on your multiple choice answers. Now, the next step is I'm just going to double check on the calculator. Let me go ahead and delete. So I'm going to delete everything so you guys don't get confused. I'm just going to double check on the calculator. All right, so I'm going to leave it like that. So again, the first step, if you want to double check on the calculator, is that you select 2 points. 2 points from your graph. You place them on a table, X and Y table, just like I did right here. And then, again, you go to Stat, Edit, Enter. I'm going to delete what's in here. For my X, remember the X is the first one. So X is L1, 4, and negative 4. And Y is my L2, negative 3 and 3. Then Stat, Calculate. I'm going to go to number 4, all the way down, and negative 0.75. So isn't that what we got, guys? So yes, so negative 0.75, and then I converted it into a fraction. Again, it depends on what you have on your multiple choice answers. All right, let's keep going. So now you go ahead and pause the video and you can try it by yourself. All right, so again, the first step that I want to do is I want to select 2 perfect points. So here is 1 point, and I have 0, 0 as a point. So then I'm going to place them into a table. So here, this first point is 0, 0. And this point right here, I'm going to go to my X. To my X line, I got a 4. And then to my Y line, I got a 3. All right, again, guys, your X is your horizontal line, left and right, and your Y. If you remember, the Y has a line going down. That's how you can remember. This is your Y. All right, so then I'm going to find change in Y. So from 0 to 4 is plus 4. From 0 to 3 is plus 3. So change in Y divided by change in X. Again, guys, you can double check on the calculator. Change in Y was 3. Change in X was 4. 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. So my constant for this graph is 0.75. Now, guys, your fraction form will be Y equals 3/4 X. All right. And you can also, again, like I said before, check on the calculator and you should be able to get 0.75 on your calculator. You can definitely pause the video and check on the calculator. All right, so now we're going to be looking at this problem right here. So it says Dev keeps a record in graph form of how far his car travels and the number of gallons of gasoline it uses. So how many miles per gallon does Dev get with his car? Now, if you see the word per, I don't know if you remember from the first lesson, per gallon, that word per means they're looking for slope. All right, so same thing, we're gonna select two perfect points. I see 0, 0 as a perfect point, and I'm gonna select this one. Now you gotta be careful, only because it's the first one doesn't mean, oh, this is 1. No, you have to be careful, what is it going by? Here it looks like it's going by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So it looks like it's going by 2s. All right, so I am gonna put them on a table. Hopefully it fits right here. This first point I selected is 0, 0. The second point I selected, so the x of this point is 2. The y of this point is 64. From 0 to 64, I'm sorry, from 0 to 2 is 2. From 0 to 64 is 64. And now we're going to do change in y divided by change in x. So my y changed 64 and my x is 2. It changed by 2. So 64 divided by 2. 64 divided by 2 is 32. So equals 32. So how many miles per gallon does he get with his car? 32 miles per gallon. Okay. All right. Number 3, so it says, what is the slope of the graph? So the slope is the same thing. The slope is 32. Okay, does that make sense? If you're finding the unit rate or the slope or the constant, they all mean the same thing. So what is the slope of the graph? The slope of the graph is 32. We already did the change in y divided by change in x. Question number 4, it says, how far can Deb travel on 4 gallons of gasoline? Well, if for 1 gallon, so I'm going to put gallon and miles here. If for 1 gallon he can travel 32, how much can he travel for 4? Well, all you got to do is multiply, right? 32 times 4 is 128. So 128. So 32 times 4, yes, if I do cross multiply, 32 times 4, 128 divided by 1, 128. All right. All right, so here a word problem. This is just to get used to you guys looking at the word per. So it says Jasmine bought 7 yards of fabric. The total cost was $45.43. What was the average cost per yard? So again, per means what? Unit rate or slope or constant. So all you're finding is the amount for 1. So 1 yard, so per yard. So all you have to do is divide 43 divided by 7. $6.49. So the cost per yard is $6.49. All right, so the next one, go ahead and pause and try it. So a train traveled 325 miles in 5 hours. What was the train's average rate of speed in miles per hour? Now, this type of problems that you're looking at right now, the word problems, are going to help you with the next lesson because you need to be able to find another point. So what does that mean? So 3 miles in 5 hours is actually a point in a graph. Does that make sense? It's a point in a graph, so what you have to do is either divide it or multiply it to find another point. So here, per, again, is your slope or your unit rate. It's just asking for how much for 1 hour, right? So all you got to do is divide. 325 divided by 5 is 65. So 65 miles per hour. All right, so that is the train's average rate of speed in miles. All right, guys, that is the lesson for today. If you guys have any questions, please let us know. Go ahead and practice your calculator skills. Please practice your table on the calculator and your graphs on the calculator. Thank you.